Next slide that I'm going to show you is a 4-quadrant of personalities. So the left, the orange one, people who are very analytical, who are very logical in thinking. If there's no logic, they wouldn't go. And they're very quantitative, and they're based on truths, and they're very rigorous. And they look about the cost, and they're very systematic. Okay? And these people are very focused, like a purpose-oriented people, very pragmatic. If you come up with some idea, they would say, this would not work. How can this be possible? We don't have the money, and it's going to cost. So that is the logical aspect of it. Right? The one below, they're quite realistic, they're quite structured, they're disciplined, they are very organized, and they want things to happen in a certain way, and they plan in detail, and they go according to this plan. If something changes, they wouldn't be happy about it. They're very structured people. When you go to the yellow, they're very conceptual, which means they conceive some ideas, they have visions, and they just come up with some new ideas. They're very intuitive. And they want to try something new, very experimental. They want to constantly develop things, and they want to design things. They always look for possibilities. These people are very abstract, and they're very divergent in thinking, which means they think in random ways. And next comes the social aspect. People are very interpersonal. They are called people persons. And they're very emotional. They cooperate a lot. And so you have got 4 different types of qualities. So these on the orange and green, they're more towards the left brain, and the yellow and this pink are more towards your right side of the brain. Okay, so there are some jobs, for example, the top one, they could be more like accounts, the orange ones could be more accounts or financial people. The bottom one could be like managers, the green ones. The yellow one could be research, people come up with new ideas, very creative thinking. And then the bottom one could be people who are like in healthcare, people who look after other people. It could be even like some teachers are a bit more people-oriented personalities. Now, there are downsides to all of these. The negative part is what I'm going to show you. Next slide is the people who are very logical, they're very rigid, always calculating, and they only last for short term. They won't go for changes in the organization. They're very rigid. Okay? Same with the green one. As I said, they're good for managers. They could be very bossy, and they're always stuck to the same thing, doing over and over again. Sometimes they could be bored. Whereas the yellow ones are a bit unfocused. The downside is they keep moving from one to another. They could be a bit lazy. They would miss deadlines. They wouldn't plan things. They would just come up with new things. So these are the downsides. Okay? People on the red would be a bit oversensitive. Sometimes you think, oh, this person wouldn't fit for this business. They're too emotional. And sometimes you have to be very rude and things like that. So these are the downsides to it. But one has to need a bit of everything. For example, you can look at this and say, I'm more like the orange person. I'm more of a yellow person, or more of a green or the pink. But most of the time, you're born with some of these qualities. But then some of the qualities you can develop as when you grow. Okay? You could be like, one could say I'm 70% of orange and 30% of yellow. But we also need a little bit of green and pink. Okay, so you need a bit of everything. But you could be more towards one particular trait. And so we need all. Some people are strong in yellow, some people are strong in pink. So when you are in a group and team project, we need people with different qualities. So if you have a mix of all these, then our product will be better, our service will be better, and the organization will develop holistically. So there is a slide that I could show you, which has got like a questionnaire, which you could do. Maybe you can do it later. I'll share that with you. It just tells you you can grade yourself. What quality do I have at the moment? Okay. Which probably I'll show you later. Okay. Back to my slides. So how does Circ implement these employability skills? Circ is the college that I work with. How do we implement? So what we do is we do project-based learning. Rather than just teaching subject, we make a project out of it. And while doing the project, the students learn the subject. Okay. So the model is we give them a real world scenario. For example, if you want to teach them about genetics and biochemistry and cell biology, rather than starting from the basic, what cell is, what genetics is, what we give them is we give them a real problem project. The students straight away given, for example, we have a pandemic here, there's a virus, how to sequence the gene of this particular Delta variant. The students are given straight away, they're given this work. And then the students start to form groups, and then they start to find what they want to do in the project to find that out. And they do a bit of a research, and then the design, what are the ways that we could approach this problem, and they present to the staff or to other class members, this is how we're going to approach this problem. And then they would have 2 or 3, 4 approaches, and out of that, after discussion, they choose the best one, and then they create an action plan to it, and then they implement the plan. While doing all these things, what they do is, while doing the research, they learn about the topic. They learn about the basics of genetics, biochemistry, or chemistry, or cell biology. And then while designing the project, they'll be looking into different experiments, different procedures, how to do everything. And then while implementing, they do all the practical works. And when they present the results, they do analysis, problem solving, communication. When they do the work in project, they do communication. And they might even collaborate with some industry, some universities, other universities. So they get these industry fits, they work as a team, they solve the problem, and then they evaluate their results. Okay, they bring change. So they develop all these employability qualities while doing this course. So they're not studying separately while they're doing the course, and they have to do all these things. Finally, they have to present the project, the results, the findings. So they develop the communication skills, both verbal and non-verbal, and then they present the projects. This is how Circ carries out or develops these employability as and when they do the curriculum. So it is all part of the curriculum. Okay? So project-based learning is embedded in the core curriculum, and then so staff have to be trained on this. So we have a special team called Learning Academy and Innovation Team. They develop or help the staff to have this special quality of how to deliver a project-based learning activity. And it has been integrated into the curriculum. So as and when they do the project, they also cover the curriculum. Okay, so it's not done separately. So within the class time, you can do it. So the students get the opportunity to work on multidisciplinary projects. They would be collaborating with engineers and science and computer science to develop some computer modeling and things like that. And they develop a lot of transversal skills, which they could take it for their work environment. So some of the transfer skills is, as and when they doing this project, they would get some of this good citizenship. That means they'll be working in team, respecting each other, and then they'll be developing digital skills while writing reports, doing presentation, creating posters and PowerPoint. And then they also have to self-manage. They have to finish the project on time. If there's any problem, they have to deal with all these problems, solve the problems, which leads on to the problem and decision making, solving the problem in the project, trying to come up with some new solution. They work with others, communicate, and then they also develop some professionalism. Making a logbook and doing a bit of a study and giving respect to their teamwork. And all these qualities are developed while they are doing this project. So they learn the subject, at the same time they also develop all these soft skills. So when they do this, they also develop entrepreneurship skills, they come up with some innovation ideas, and they can develop an enterprise. They could even start up a business. Okay, which leads on to our next topic of entrepreneurship and enterprise. Okay, so I've got a list of top young entrepreneurs in India. Okay, all these people are in the early 20s, right? First person, just going to talk about a few. This is Ritesh Agarwal. His business is, he has created a network of inns. Inns, when I say, it's like hotels and personal accommodations. You know, some people have a holiday home in a holiday location, and they rent it out for people who come and visit that place, like tourists. So he created a network. It's called OYO Rooms. That's his network. And today's his business is $1 billion US. Okay, Ritesh Agarwal. Just to pick a few, this is Sri Lakshmi Suresh. She's a web designer. When she was in school, she designed the web pages, and she's done for a school, and she's got her own business. You have other people here, and their business varies completely different, from environment to biotechnology to web designs to fashion design. And this is the youngest entrepreneur. This is Tilak Mehta. He has collaborated with Dabawala in Mumbai, and his business is papers and parcels. So he delivers documents in small parcels, and he uses the Dabawala in Mumbai to deliver within 6 hours. And he is doing this network in Mumbai. All these entrepreneurs. So next few slides, we're going to talk about who is an entrepreneur, what are the characteristics of an entrepreneur, and what is their action plan. So the term entrepreneur is often applied to somebody who finds a new business, someone who starts a new business where there's none before. So from this, you have to do a bit of research to start something new, and they need to be very creative in thinking to come up with a new idea. That's what those people have done. Okay. Who is not an entrepreneur? Okay. Somebody who buys an existing enterprise. Okay. Somebody buys a company. He's not an entrepreneur because that company was already there. The product was already there. You just bought it over. Or somebody who manages a big company, okay, as an employee. He's not an entrepreneur because he's just running someone else's company. Or somebody who inherits business. For example, my father was a big businessman, and I've just joined that company. Now I'm running. I'm not an entrepreneur. Okay, so the entrepreneur is a person who starts a new business, a new product, a new service which was not there before. Okay, like Swiggy app is a new the person who found out is an entrepreneur. Amazon or Flipkart is a new entrepreneur who came up with this new idea of doing online shopping. Right, the characteristics of an entrepreneur. A small exercise here. I've got 9 dots. Okay. Now what I want you to do is, can you draw lines joining all these dots? Okay. Now the challenge is you should not take your hand from the paper, right? And you need to connect all the joints, and you can only draw, or you can only go one direction. You cannot draw a line like this and come back. So you can only go in one direction. At the same time, you should join all the dots. Okay. So take a time, and if you have a pen and paper handy, you can try this. I'll just give you a couple of seconds. You got 9 dots here. You need to join them. All the dots. You shouldn't take your pen off the paper. At the same time, you could go only in one direction. Let me see. Okay, for example, if you want to draw like this, joining all the dots. Okay. So this is what we want to do. Now there should be another line going like now I have to take my pen from the paper, which you shouldn't do. Without taking, you should be able to draw it. So this is what joining all the dots together. You cannot go back. Okay, you cannot go like this, and come back and go like this. Okay, so give it a go later. So I'm going to, some of you might have already done this before, so I'm going to just go demo. So I'm joining this one first, and like this, join them all, like this, and like this. Now, how do I draw the other line? I haven't taken my pen off the paper. I'm not going to go back. Now I've joined all the dots without taking my hand off the paper and not going back. So how I was able to do it, I just went outside the box and I just came back. Okay. Without doing this, you cannot join all the dots. So the point I want to tell you is one has to think outside the box to come up with some new ideas. Okay. So think outside the box. To start up a new business, you have to believe in your own future. Okay, this is what I have to be. You have to be creative. You have to be determined. At the same time, you have to be flexible. Because sometimes when you start a new business, you have to do everything. Almost like you have to be multitasking. Because when you start your own business, you cannot have a separate accountant, a separate marketing person. You have to do everything. And you have to be goal-oriented. You have to work hard. You have to be resilient to solve problems. And then you have to be a person who takes initiative. A person should be leading things. You should be able to self-start things. Don't wait for others to take decisions. You make your decisions. You should be able to do it. And you should be also have the appetite to take risks. Because when you start a new risk, it's always a new business, it's always risky. It's not being careless, not reckless, but you calculate the risk. There is going to be a risk, but how I'm going to reduce that risk and maximize the rewards. And you should be passionate about your product. You should really love the product or the service that you provide. It should be like your dream thing. And you should be able to, you should be a visionary, faith in what you're trying to do. You should think big, and this is what I want to achieve, because this business is not there in the market at the moment. So you are coming up with some new concept, new idea, and you should believe in yourself. I will be able to achieve this. And then you should be result-oriented. Some people just keep thinking, come with ideas, but they will not be able to do that work. But you should be able to deliver it, achieve the target, and set yourself at high. I'm going to not just make a cheap product, but I'm going to give a quality service, quality product, and that is what I need to do. So these are the qualities or characteristics of an entrepreneur. Okay, you don't have to have big things. Even you could do that in your scientific research. I'm going to give you an example. Now, these two scientists they discovered the compound called graphene, right? And they discovered in 2004, and they got the Nobel Prize in 2010. Andre and Costia, okay? They both discovered. They are professors in the University of Manchester, and they came up with this graphene. So you know diamond graphite, and graphene is a single layer of graphite. So graphite, you know, it's got a multi-layer, single layer of graphene. Now, because you know, graphene has got a free electron, so they could conduct electricity. Okay, so because they could conduct electricity, and because it's a single mono layer, it's very flexible. And because of this graphene, it's flexible, conduct electricity. You can make the display screen very flexible. Okay, so they're still working on it. In the future, you can roll up your mobile phone, or your TV screen can be rolled up because of this new material called graphene. Still, it will display, but at the same time, because it's single layer, it will be very, very, very flexible. You don't have to have a solid. How did they discover? All they did was they separated graphite. So graphite is same as what you have in your pencil lid, or the lead in the pencil. They just use sellotape to stick the graphite and slowly peel off the layers. That is all they did. They didn't have any high-tech equipment. They came with this idea, slowly peeled off using sellotape, constantly went on peeling one layer after another until they got to the single mono layer of graphene. And they just confirmed it with the X-ray diffraction. That is all they did. So, wow, why do you become an entrepreneur? Or why do you want to own your own business? Probably you'll have more flexible hour, you have control over your work, or you want to show your potential. Well, I can do this, or you're passionate about something that you can be fulfilled, or satisfaction of building your own business, or getting a reward. So these are, or just money could be your main objective. Okay, running your own business. But doing the business on your own, being an entrepreneur, there's also some downside. You can be lonely because you're just by yourself in the start. Or if something goes wrong, you cannot blame, oh, this manager or the technician did it, because you're the only one, so you're the one to be blamed. Initially, you'll be earning very, very little. You have to work a lot harder. Sometimes it's more than 70 hours a week. A lot of stress will be there. You have to do multitasking. You have to be, can't hire specialists. You'll be doing different things, initial stages, and you don't get sick pay or holiday because you have to be constantly working. And you'll have different roller coaster of emotions. Sometimes things could work well, sometimes they could not work. So you'll have a lot of emotions going on. But those are the risks. So it is not for faint-hearted. Somebody should be very strong, resilient. The biggest risk is failure. Obviously, the business can go floppy, but still the rewards are huge. So how does Circ implement these entrepreneurship qualities? So we want to create that among students. So we have 2 weeks during the first time when they join the university. We give them different options. They have to come up with certain projects to start up a business. It could be anything. So we create like 2 weeks innovation time before they start the course. As soon as the new academic year starts, the students form teams and they have to come up with an idea. They have to present it to the judges. So like 2019, we had 4,000 students. They came up with 700 innovative projects. We did in 2020, still we had 3,500. They all were online because we couldn't meet face-to-face. People still came up with these all 650 different projects. And then they have to present that to a team of judges. And they have to display their products. The judges will come and judge this product. And then once they've got these products, they could sell the product that they've made, And the college would make like a Christmas catalog or spring catalog that is just during a season. They could sell whatever they have. So we'll have like a fair in the college where they could come and display their products, and we'll invite the public to come and buy their products. Could be anything different. And we also have an entrepreneur club, and we have a permanent staff member who's an entrepreneur himself, and he keeps giving an idea. So we link with different fundings, and we help them to network with industry or other universities. We help them how to sell their products. We have special mentors who would train these young students how to start a new business. We arrange for workshops and talks. So these are the things that we do in this company. So moving on quickly, some of the short business could turn into real business by the students. Some of the businesses are a new product, so they need to do a lot of R&D work to continue, and we help them in testing, patenting, and helping them to get some fund. Some of the products are only like a short term. They'll come up, sell for 6 months, and then they go off. And some of the students who started these companies, they went on to start their own business, and they could still use the college facilities. They could use college equipments and instruments, but college will charge them. So these are the different ways that students can start their own companies in the college. These are some of the examples that I'm showing here. These boys, they were able to develop a water treatment plant, how to remove nitrates and phosphates. They studied different materials, and they came up with activated charcoal. And again, the activated charcoal, they researched into how they can convert thermocol, all the packaged material thermocol, can be converted into activated carbon, can be used to treat water. And they designed using screen printing. They were able to develop a prototype of the apparatus by themselves using this treatment plant. And other products, these students, all these are environmental related products. They use coffee beans, waste coffee beans. They used to make into briquettes, which can be used for heating the homes. Other products are people came up with special upskilling from textile to creating some masks. And some people came up with developing apps where it will help you to navigate through malls and airports and universities to find the location where you want to go. Your app will guide you. It's almost like a Google map they developed. These are some of the projects that we develop with the students. So we are open to some of these developments here. If any of the industry or universities need to collaborate with us, we're happy to interact and collaborate with students how to develop these entrepreneurship among students. Can I take just a couple of more minutes? Is that okay, Dr. Purushothaman? Just want to show you a short video. That's all okay?
Definitely, doctor. Take your time.
Just want to show a short video there. Just bear with me. And this is what we advertise for this academic year. We haven't started our academic year. We only started in September. This is what students will be doing in the first 2 weeks when they start this academic year. So this is the challenge that the students will have when they join. They'll have only 2 weeks to come up with an idea, to develop a product, and then they should be able to, there'll be a competition, and the judges will be there. We invite judges from outside, from industry, from government, and then they all judge, and then they pick the project. And the top ones, once they got it, they would get, we help them to patent their work, help them to get funding, and they can start their own business. So this is done within like 2 weeks shot, and this culture happens throughout their work. So whenever they learn their subjects, they constantly think, okay, I'm learning something about biochemistry and biotechnology, environment. Is there anything that I take from this that I'm learning, make it into a product, and make it into a service, which will help the community, the economy, the country to grow our organization. So they come up with this idea. So they all have all these skills. So when they go for interviews, for job interviews, they share these things. They said, as a team, we have developed this, and we were able to come to the finals, or we were able to. So by this time, the student knows how to get patent, how to get funding, how to do research, how to organize, how to work as a team, how to communicate, present. All these qualities are developed. This is done while they're doing the course. So they are quite employment ready. Either they could go up and start their own business, and when they go for job interviews, these are the people industry want to recruit. So you bring value to the company, and with this attitude, you'll be able to develop the existing product in that company, and you'll change the company into new levels. And so this is what we are encouraging. So hope this gave you an idea of how to develop these skills and how to do it in industry and in academic field. And if you have any questions or anything to discuss, it's open. And thank you for listening so far.
Thank you, Dr. Bennett Chandran. It's an enlightening talk. It's a very, very, very important to the entrepreneurs. Important points. Everything points are important to the young entrepreneurs, and the number of ways are open now to the young entrepreneurs to achieve their what they dream. Thank you, Doctor, for your wonderful talk in this section. Thank you, guys. Now it's a time to ask your questions to Dr. Bennett Chandran, sir. Anyone like to ask questions? Kindly ask your question by raising your hands. Dr. Balu Ranganathan, kindly shoot your question.
Great talk, Bennett. Is SERC it's a global initiative or only for UK?
No, this the one that we are having is done by the college, but the college does a lot of collaborative work. So we are open for collaboration business with other universities and private companies. Yes, we have a separate team, entrepreneurship and employability, and they're open for collaborations. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Any others like to ask questions? Kindly ask your question.
Can I?
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely, doctor.
Okay. Dr. Bennett, how about the mentors there? They are also from the globe, globally, or it's only to do with UK?
No,
Online.
yeah, the mentors are they once when it's open to collaboration, they would be able to mentor others as well. Yeah, not necessarily
Okay.
for yes.
Thank you.
You're open for that. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Any others?
Yes, could I ask Dr.
Okay,
Purushottam?
doctor. Okay, doctor.
Dr. Bennett, your very nice presentation is out of box thinking that our students should learn that they should not think that just getting a degree is enough. That so it's a very enlightening one. So do you know the condition in India? So what do you think the present condition our students should? You already expressed. I mean, is anything particularly in the biological field or chemistry field they should learn? A technique or something.
Yes, well, one of the things to it depends what level you are want to get into industry. If you are some of the tips that students need to know is rather than doing just research, it will be also good for people to know how to handle instruments. Especially from my experience, what I learned is one of the tips that I could give you is if there's an opportunity for you to learn the mechanics of the instrument, how the instrument works, it'll be very, very helpful, especially when you are going into research field. Because some of the equipments, if something goes wrong, for the university or industry to get a person to fix that costs them more money, especially if you're doing like a postdoctoral research. And if the research scholar knows how to even fix the machines, that will be very, very good. Okay, not just for running the machine, but also to get a chance to maintain the machine, which is good. And software application is also important. If you have an opportunity to learn any software, please go ahead. Especially data analysis and computer modeling are very upcoming field. Like Python or R program, if you get an opportunity, at least have a basic knowledge of those. Because they're looking for a lot of data analysis. You get a lot of data from scientific research, and so they're able to analyze it and predict models. That's another thing that I would suggest you to learn. And don't be afraid of expressing your ideas and views. It could be different in Indian culture. Maybe nowadays things are changing. People would accept. But if you are moving outside India, feel free to express your ideas and views. That is what people need in the industry. They want young people to come with new things, and they always encourage. So don't hold yourself. You can come up with new concrete idea, which is very important.
Thank you, Bennett. Thank you.
If any others like to ask questions, kindly raise your hand. Yeah, Dr. Ramnath, definitely ask your question.
Yeah. Happy morning, sir.
Morning, yeah.
Dr. Bennett, sir.
Yes, Rama.
Yeah, excellent lecture, sir. It was really inspired to all our friends. Just I have one clarification. Hello, is it audible?
Yes, yeah, you're audible, Rama. Yes, I'm listening.
Yeah. Actually, myself, Dr. Ramnathan from Annamalai University. I'm working as associate professor in Center of Advanced Study in Marine Biology.
Good.
So I am focusing on marine biodiversity as well as ethnopharmacology work. Sir, how to do the MOU with your institution? Is there any other funding agency supporting from UK? How to do that research collaboration?
Yeah, yes.
Because already we did that MOU with German. nearly 9 years we used to send my students for doing research work. Okay.
Yeah.
So like that, just I want to get the information from you.
Yes. There are currently, with regard to research and sending students, so far it's been happening within Europe, because there is an Erasmus fund which happens within Europe. Now, because UK has come out of EU, slowly other opportunities are coming up. So it's all in the early stages. So I could find more information. If you could contact me, I could find more information how to do like research collaboration and exchange programs of faculty and students coming into the UK and going out of UK. There's another new system they started called Alan Turing. It's like a project work. So you can apply to Alan Turing. There you have these exchange programs. Before that, it was only within the Europe. It's called Erasmus program. So Alan Turing is what you need to research, and through that you can have collaboration with industries and colleges or universities where people can come in and go. So this is only started new this year after Brexit. So check for that website. Yeah, Alan Turing.
Thank you, doctor. I will get the info. I will get your contact details from our organizer. For sure.
Sure.
Thank you.
No
Thank you,
problem.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ramnath, and thank you very much, Dr. Bennett Chandran, sir, for your pleasant answer for all the questions. And you spend almost 2 hours. It is very early morning in UK. I know that. So thank you very much. Thank you for spending time with us and your presence in BioYojana 2021. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Soundarya, yeah, sir.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity, and really enjoyed having this talk. It's quite early morning, but hope the rest of the conference goes well. Thank you for all the organizers and board members. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. Now, Soundarya, you give the vote of thanks to Dr. Bennett Chandran.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your profound knowledge with us. The session was full of inspiring and valuable information on employability and entrepreneurship in applied science. Thank you for your time and consideration, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Sandhya.